Patra is the only female dancehall artist with a gold record in the United States with a gold album.
Welcome to the Style and Vibes podcast with me, Michaela. I'll be giving you the inside scoop on music, fashion, culture, and more from Caribbean celebrities and tastemakers across the globe, pushing our culture with authenticity and, of course, style and vibes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Style and Vibes podcast with yours truly, Michaela. If you are new here, welcome to the family. If you are returning like my guest today, welcome back, family. We have Tifa in the building. Tifa, I wanted them.
DEM. I'm still not know. Years later, and I still don't know.
So the last time you and I spoke, you're in New York promoting the Silent Project with Relay, and we got to chop it up. So we know your history, but what have you been up to since? I know it's a lot.
Do you know that since
a lot you've been doing?
Like literally when we spoke, it was right before the pandemic. Like
yes.
Literally right before.
Yes.
It's been 5 years. Pretty much. It's been 5 years. A lot has happened in the 5 years. The pandemic happened. I'm back in full force being Tifa again. I got a Grammy with Kabaka Pyramid on his album for Mr. Rastaman. So much has happened in the short space of time. Like,
it feels long, but it feels short at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so I am so glad that you are doing music full force. You've also kind of done some other things in between business-wise, like you did radio for a little bit. I feel like you've been doing like some hosting for parties. Talk to me about exploring all of those other creative elements about you, because me know say you got perform in art school, so you have plenty talent. So how was it exploring those in that time frame?
You know, as it is, you just have to, like, in this day and age, if the opportunity comes and it makes sense, you have to just take, you have to just take the opportunity. Especially in this day and age, because you never know, and the world is ever changing and evolving. And it's funny how I brought up the pandemic, like us doing the last interview right before the pandemic, because life literally changed. You know what I mean? Streaming literally changed. How we perceive life. TikTok became the #1 app. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so much has happened. So when you're being presented with these opportunities, if you're good at it, if you're great at it, you just need to take them. You just need to run with them. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Which one was the most out of your element for you?
I wouldn't say any of them would be out of my element. I really enjoyed radio. Not only was I a media personality, but I was marketing. You know what I mean? Because I have a marketing background. I was doing a lot of marketing, you know what I mean? Connecting them with a lot of sponsors, connecting them with a lot of events, you know what I mean? Given the fact that I've worked with so many sponsors and, done so many events, like, as being the connect, but I wouldn't say either or. Cooking is a part of my family. My family has restaurants, like, you know what I mean? If I couldn't cook, I'd be a worthless woman. Like, if I couldn't cook, if I couldn't, you know what I mean, or have a catering business, like, I'd literally be a worthless person.
So in terms of just being an artist and being on the other side of the microphone of interviewing, how was that for you, like from a media experience?
You know what's crazy? I really loved it. And I got a chance to ask the questions that I would ask. Because a lot of the time, separate and apart from you and a few others, I don't think, people just get these jobs and they're like, so, how is it? What is it like being in a male-dominated business? Like, they ask you the same questions over and over, and I'm like, why am I here? You know what I mean? So separate apart from like you and a couple of other people that like ask questions, like Anthony Millers and you know what I mean? And Winfrey's like, I really wanted to sit and ask the questions that I know would challenge artists and that I know would challenge prominent people and that I know people would actually want to answer. You know what I mean? Separate and apart from what it is that they sing and how it is that they started, like, who are you as a person? You know what I mean? What were you going through when you wrote, let's say, for example, I Want a Man? You know what I mean? Like asking those type of questions that me as an artist would sometimes want other people to ask me.
Well, speaking of I Want a Man, you give me a good, nice segue. So the experience just come in, blah, 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 blah. Um, Tell me about your writing process from then until till now. How has that changed from 5 years ago to today? Like, how have you grown as a writer and an artist in
You
that
know
time frame?
what's crazy? I have not grown since 15 or 14. I have not grown as a writer. In the sense, I mean, sure, literary devices, and you go through high school, you go through college, and you know what I mean, you learn about different things and different styles or whatever. But I always just wrote from a place of what I see and what I feel. And I can't necessarily explain it, but God just has a different way of expressing through me. And I've always expressed fluently but differently. And ever since I was like 14 or 15, and I had this big, you remember those big 5 subject books? And I used to just write poems. And I remember my cousins used to be like so enamored, like them used to just tell them one of them thief the book, me know one of them thief the book. But that's another story for another time. But since then, like I've always just emoted the way how, you know what I mean? I feel, or just emoted how I think persons feel. Because a lot of the times, like they hear a song and because people know that I'm a writer, they think, oh, it's automatically about me. But it's not necessarily about me. Like Kitty Police was about a friend, about a guy that was stalking my friend's area. You know what I mean? Matey Wine was about just going to Lime Key on a Sunday and realizing that it was the side chicks that were on these yachts and not necessarily the wife. And I'm like, but them a live better life. You know what I mean? Why for the woman? So I just like to explore, you know what I mean? Different, like I'm not afraid to write. That's another thing, because as a dancehall artist or as an artist, they tend to put you in a box. You dress this way, sing this way, you know what I mean, do things this way, like wear a leotard. And if you don't wear a leotard, it bling bling, you can't dress like that's not fashion, that, you know what I mean? And a uniform. But so I like to explore things from not only my angle, but like how other people see things and how other people emote things. And so I think, even though, as I say, life has evolved, so you're gonna learn new things. But ever since I was 15, I don't know, God just give me, maybe that's why I get one in English and literature, and I don't know. Ever since then, God just, from 15, it's been like this.
I think that is, I really like that, because the strategy hasn't changed. The material has, as you have experienced life, but that skill of writing and continuous writing just naturally progresses the more you experience and observe about life. And I think that is amazing. Given your penmanship, have you ever, and would you write for other artists?
I actually do. I've written for
Tell me about that.
and
Tell me about that.
I can't, unfortunately.
You can't even
No, I've even
even
written, no, let me tell you the truth. I've even written for hip hop artists. But you got to sign them NDAs, girl. You have to sign a little NDA.
I need the 20 years to pass, because it go in your book. Me know say you can't just write and not go write your life book.
Let's put it this way. I've written for even men. I've written for even men.
Just make sure it's in the biography, please and thanks.
Yeah, I mean, eventually.
All right.
Open up the business and you sign those NDAs, and just as long as my publishing good, we're good.
And that I think is key. But the reason why I asked about songwriting and songwriting for others is, I think Jamaica is full of talent. Caribbean people are full of talent, and I think sometimes as we are coming up, we're only seeing this one way to be in the industry. It's the reason why, I've taken on the stance that I love the music, I love the industry, but I am not an artist. But there are so many different avenues beyond being an artist or even a producer. I don't hear a lot about women songwriters in the business. And I think that's really why I wasn't trying to be messy. I just want to expose your talent beyond just doing it for yourself.
An idea, because I'd love to do like a writing workshop. It do happen, you know what I mean? Like every now and again, I know one of the days, I think for probably like 2 hours, when Shaggy does his EMC thingy, they have like a writing workshop. But I'd love to, as a woman, I'd love you literally just given me an idea to like sit even with other women. Because as I say, we are literally put in a box when it comes on to, especially if you're a dancehall artist, oh, you need to sing this. But how many times am I going to sing about my vagina? How many times am I going to sing about I can take your man? How many times am I going to sing about I want to wine on you or I can TikTok? The world know that already. Have a girl band with something good. Like you can literally pay $10,000 and get vaginal rejuvenation. Like with her, like you know what I mean? So and you find that it's funny, and you find that because you're talking about real topics, it works. Because you're talking about, you know, the situation behind I Want a Man, or because Tanya Stevens is saying these streets, or because, you know what I mean? You're talking about these real topical things and people can identify with them. You find that it lasts longer. You find that it has a sturdier impact.
So tell me about I Want a Man, because the people that want to know, I want to know, is this a personal story or is it inspired by?
No, it's not necessarily a personal story for me.
Okay.
Big up to Richard Digital One. He literally sent me a bunch of tracks. Just picture 3 months ago, 3 or 2 months ago, and picture Richard sending me a folder of just beats. And me going through these beats, and then for some reason, this one in particular, because you know, I do the slower type stuff, but most times it's dancehall. For some reason, this just connect with me. Like I'm playing it in the car, I'm playing it while I'm showering. Like for some reason, this particular beat just connects with me. And I'm gonna walk you through a week. This is the week that the Diddy trial started. And like a whole bunch of stuff was coming out. You know what I mean? It was crazy to see the dynamic between like men and women, and you know, the men saying, oh, she deserves it, she's not a victim, and the women saying she's a victim, and then the women are saying, oh, these men don't love us, these men don't love us. And then, I kid you not, from the Monday to Friday, every single girlfriend that I had was complaining about either a situationship or a relationship. Like the group chat was like, yeah, dirty man, and this and that, and I can't bother and them, man, I want to make over. I'm just like, what is going on? Like literally the entire week, like everybody had a complaint. And then I saw something that same week that said 1 in every 4 women will remain single. I was like, wow, like things, this not look good for me. As a single woman, this not look good. And then the same week, there was another murder suicide in Jamaica. I know we've been having quite a few of those. There was another murder suicide, and and when you get to the root of it, it's always, okay, I can cheat on you as a man, but you can't cheat on me as a woman. Like men don't know how to process getting born. It's the end of the world for them. So you find that there are a lot of murder suicides. And I kept seeing in the comments again, these men don't love us, these men don't love us, these men don't love women, that's why I'm staying single. And I was like, wow. I said, but. And then the Friday night, somebody that I was trying to date, we were trying to date each other, I guess. He literally just aggravated my soul. He literally like just pissed me off and triggered me. And they said the trigger way triggered me, like, you know, when it just, like I said, sure. It brought me back to Monday with my friends. It brought me back to social media. It brought me back to the media. It brought me back to everything that I was thinking, my friends were thinking, the women were like, literally the Friday night I wrote the song, and the Saturday morning it was recorded, and the rest is history. It literally is the voice of women. So it's not it's my personal, it literally is the voice of, I literally took the different pieces of what I was seeing. These men don't love us, and them money want your baby them. You know what I mean? If you listen to the entire song, you hear me talk about even, I can have a baby and baby you. There's so many topical conversations within even the song, because it's like you find that a lot of relationships break up either during or after the pregnancy because, oh, she not look good again, or she not sexy again, or a lot of these men want to compete with the baby because before the baby came, they were number one, and now it's all about the baby. You don't make time for me anymore. Like there's so many things, and I'm just like, but sir, if we just birth a baby, like what do you think is gonna happen here? You know what I mean? It can't walk, it can't talk. It can't feed itself. it is going to have to take precedence over you. You know what I mean? You're going to have to wait the 6 weeks till I'm healed. Like, there's so many things to explore. And then even then I say, yo, what kind of trauma you got through? Because a lot of these men have unhealed trauma from childhood. You know what I mean? A lot of these men are projecting unhealed trauma from their childhood, from their parents, from their dads not being there, from their moms who babied them. It's so many topics within the one song. It's literally, as I say, the voice of women. I literally just took everything that I saw, that I felt, that I was hearing, and put it in a one song.
It's almost like a manifestation, if you will, of like,
somewhat,
you know, the type of person that you're looking for. You put it out there and hope it kind of comes back to you. But you mentioned, and I wrote down the word trigger. Do you think that social media and the community that women now have that is public triggers us, or do real situations trigger us to react certain ways?
I think both, because a lot of the times it is real situations. You turn on, you know what I mean? You open the app and we're following the news outlets, we're following the blogs, we're following. It's not like before where we had to wait until 7 or 8 o'clock at evening to watch the news to see what's going on or the entertainment pro. We're literally seeing the things in real time. If a man fling a stone and bust somebody's head, we literally can pick up the phone and say, Jesus, please, watch that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think a lot of us have been, some of us have been desensitized, but a lot of us are still healing from a lot of things. Even the pandemic, it's funny because I was in New York, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I was in New York and my cousin is a nurse. And I was just like, yo, this is where it started. Like, and a lot of persons pass on. A lot of persons are still dealing with trauma from 5 years ago, from working in the hospitals, from seeing people buried in unmarked, like life literally over the past 5 years has either traumatized you and you're sensitive, or has either desensitized you and you're like, okay, so that man foot chop off, cool, no problem, seen it. You know what I mean? So I think it's a double-edged sword. It just depends on what side you're on.
What feedback have you gotten so far from both men and women on the song?
Everybody loves the song. As I said, it's viral and it has sparked a conversation. I have gotten the years as well as I've gotten the okay, maybe we're girly, but at least we don't give jackets. Jamaican woman give jackets. So, you know what I mean?
I think there was a stat that got published in one of the newspapers about the amount of jackets. Yeah, tell you, it's sending them off, you know.
It's really sad. It's 70%. Yeah. I think it's over 70%. I think in Mandeville alone, the parish of Mandeville alone, it's 83% paternity fraud. Like, the kids don't belong to the people that, you know what I mean? But then it's wrong. I do not condone it. I do not condone you giving, you know, the wrong child to somebody else. But let's play devil's advocate. For years, women were abused. For years, women get born. For years, women get bad treatment. For years, grandma stayed with grandpa because, you know, it said till death do us part. But then grandpa had 3 children in that house, 6 children in that house, and we were expected to take it because that's what we do. We ride or die for our men. You know what I mean? And I think the dynamic changed, and a lot of women that saw their mothers and their grandmothers and their aunts go through that, just decided, hey, I don't want to go through that anymore. You know what I mean? I'd rather be alone than deal with the drama. Or, sure, him can't handle me sexually, so them go give born, but then a child end up come, which is, you know what I mean? Give the man where the child come to. But, you know what I mean? We've become so liberal that we have actually become the men. And it's sad. A lot of us have become the men that we want to be, and a lot of us have even become the men that we don't even want to be. But you know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of women players out there. There are a lot of women that don't have any feelings, and okay, you've seen it. Okay, all right, you Tuesday, never Rasta. You Friday, you Sunday, because they don't want to be like the women that them see growing up, where you used to take beating, and then still have to lie down with the man. They become the men.
That is a whole other.
As I say, so many conversations within the one.
Yeah,
so many conversations within the one song. We could be here all day.
all day. Me no night. Me can't take it today. So me go fast. Me go rewind to something else. Um, again, I'm really glad to see you in this exciting space. Like
Thank
even
you.
your energy is so vibrant coming through the screen.
Thank you.
You were recently on New Rules with Alkaline's New Rules
Mhm.
performing. What is that like for you? Just getting back on stage and performing
You know what's
in
crazy?
Jamaica, and I'm sure you've done other stuff before then, but I feel like that's
You
the
know
one that
what's
I've seen most
crazy?
recently.
Exactly a year ago from New Rules, I did. I think it was Polar for Days. That's like 450 them show with Javi and pretty dope show, big show. And I had not performed in Jamaica for a year. Had not touched a mic. Had not. Um, I did. What's it called? Excuse me. I did. I Want a Man, and we had already planned the promo from Miami to Jamaica to New York. We already planned the promo. Like we knew what we were gonna do. And in the midst of it, they called. Like, would you do it? I'm like, yeah. It's like it's a good cherry on top. Because I had already planned to be in Jamaica that week. And I was just like, this is an opportunity for me to have fun. This is an opportunity for me to shut the naysayers up. This is an opportunity for me to show people that Tifa is a staple. Stop listening to those crazy people that are sending out their promo girls or that are hiding behind the fake pages or that are trying to block Tifa out of stuff because them have them ulterior motives or them have them other artists for them a push. And I literally just went out there and unfortunately I didn't get to use the band because due to conflicts that we had with the scheduling, I never get to use the band. But I got together with my DJ, got together with my dancers, who planned it and we executed it and the rest is history. Like for me to be doing this for so long and still receive the love that I receive, it tells a story. My break wasn't a normal break. My break wasn't a social media break. Remember, our boss when Instagram wasn't like we had to literally do the groundwork. We had to literally do them school tours, them road shows, them like what I mean. So you find that we're embedded in the people's hearts, and a lot of people have used social media to manipulate the truth and to see 15,000 people singing a song word for word. Remember, I go up on the stage and I say, I cannot leave here without singing Jamaica's second national anthem. And for me, if I go out there and say, me are the BADD, and everybody else, you understand, is singing the rest. It shut down a lot of misconceptions that they were trying to put into people's brains, that they were trying to use social media and the media to manipulate people, to tell people, oh, Tifa's time is done, or Tifa is this, or she's too old. Mind you, younger than a lot of the women that are still out there. But so why you saying, you know? So I literally just used it as fuel, and for it to be that particular platform, because I identify with Alkaline in the sense that you get a whole heap of fight too. You know what I mean? And they literally strategically picked persons, like literally picked the underdogs. Like I literally had that conversation with them, like you were picking all of the people that people not give them just due and shine. And if I mean, like if you watch my slides, you will see I put that in there. That was one of the biggest forward them I get. And I admired and respected that about them and what they were doing. And I just literally, he is one of those people that, irrespective of the fact that he's a ghost, he has a huge platform. And I just do what I have to do. Like, I know this was going to be my fest. And I just do what I have to do. Black panty and all. But just go out there, go do what I have to do. And whether I like the black panty or not, or not talk, so it work. I want the DEM.
I think that performing is going to be what sets the next phase apart, especially because AI is here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And anyone can be manufactured at this point in a studio.
Mm-hmm.
But live performances are going to be where the best of the best really shine. And
I don't mean to call it, but it's two things.
Yeah.
You realize that literally, like the Mars say, oh, the king and this king and that, but like literally the 5 kings within the space of 6 months got back their visas. Bujo, Cartel, Beanie, Bounty, like, and I don't know if it was strategic, I don't know. But literally, like, yeah, you had these people that came out, and no disrespect to anybody, like, I love a lot of the younger acts, but they didn't, like, when the boss in the pandemic, when the boss, like, we never really learn how to perform and emote with people. You know what I mean? And I think that there was a cry for that. And it was in some way it kind of helped kill the thing a little bit, because we are known for live performances. You know what I mean? You can go viral all you want to, but if the DJ don't play it in a dance, because we come from a dancehall culture, if you don't play outside, it don't really count. It got just fade. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. We are in a recession. People don't have any money. So if I go spend my money for go one concert, it have to make sense. That's the next thing. You know what I mean? And with AI, I think I don't mean to cut you, but with AI is a double-edged sword, because this week I'm hearing that, well, from last week, as of the 1st of August, videos that were recorded in AI will no longer get paid on YouTube. So it might work for some, but it might not. Grammy don't recognize it. And yeah, I heard that they're cutting out trending, they're cutting out a lot of stuff. So we are coming back to they're going to have no choice but to come back to the real world.
They have to come back to the real world. Me like that.
Definitely.
Me like that. So in terms of music, you have this single now. What are you just having fun, enjoying the moment, and seeing what is coming next? Are you planning for a EP or an album? Like what?
I have a few albums.
She says she have double album.
I have a few. I've been, you see, the crazy part about it is I've been working all this time. Yeah. And it's funny, as I said, even during that pandemic, somebody else who did like me, or me did that data or whatever. They actually bought me like a little studio setup in the pandemic. So the whole time we were shut down, I was literally in my house recording.
Yeah, forget things, you know.
I wanted DEM. So I was literally in your house recording. You're gonna get a reggae album. You're gonna get quite a few projects. You're gonna see I'm working the song. We as Jamaicans, we don't work songs. We love put out this and put out that. I'm working. I want a man. As a leg, we just start with I Want a Man. So working the songs, you're gonna hear a couple of remixes, maybe different genres, who knows? You're gonna hear a couple of remixes, as well as I do have other new music coming out, because we have to feed the fans. I Want a Man is a slower type reggae, you know what I mean? Who no used to cranny girl, but some of the barrels, spell it out. We know they want you to talk the things them. We're not gonna get that. We just dropped the Bugle, not really just dropped, but we just re-dropped the Bugle and Myself that was on his album Inside One. People love that song there because they really hear Bugle talk like that. So I mean, them love that. So there are quite a few projects to come out. Like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. It's the first in a long while. I'm excited about music and what I do. I feel like I just start again.
How do you ride that wave of feeling really good about music, then feeling not so great, and then coming back? I think that as consumers, we don't think about that from the artist perspective. How do you ride that wave?
You know what? Sometimes breaks are necessary. And I think that a lot of people get caught up in the fact that, oh my God, I'm Tifa. And because I'm Tifa, and because I have these endorsements, and because I've seen this, people expect this of me and people expect that of me. But at the end of the day, you're human. And if you are not good, you're no good to anyone else. You know what I mean? Breaks are necessary. Hopefully it's a situation where you can get to plan the break. You know what I mean? You can plan the break. Okay, I'm going to drop this now and then, probably take a 6 months but breaks are necessary. You can't just keep going. And not only that, but again, because we are so accessible now because of social media, people get tired, I don't know. People do get like, Lord, me tired to see her. Jesus Christ, she again on the blog. Lord, them can't make somebody else, like, you've seen it in the comments. Like, I'm tired of this. You know what I mean? You have to know, even what's your name? It's funny, you know who's great at this? Nicki Minaj. She will not post for 6 months and then all of a sudden there's a challenge with people across them foot. And then she pop out a two cute picture and then, oh my God, queen, mother. Like, you know what I mean? Breaks are necessary. So people pace yourself. You are not a robot. You are not immortal. Like, breaks are necessary. You know what I mean? And even though the break that I took was not, like, it was somewhat forced upon me, and I had to force myself to take it, I'm grateful for it. Breaks are also necessary because sometimes you need to step back from things. Sometimes when you're in the thick of things, you can't really see what's going on around you. Sometimes you have to take a step outward to see what's going on inside. And I really needed to do that because the business was changing and I had to relearn a lot of things, even with social media. I had to relearn a lot of things because I wasn't one of those people who were posty outside of, like, you know, my shows, but people want that show. People need, I mean, if clearly not going to give them everything, but people want to see your personality. People want to know who you are. People want to, you know what I mean? So I had to relearn social media and how people are using social media. And even you said style of writing. It wasn't even necessarily the style of writing, but it's the topics. I was never drawn to like the hip hop trap something because you know that never did I go. People expect certain things from me with regard to dancehall and reggae, you know what I mean? But just to see, like, you know, what were we singing about? You know, what direction we're going to? What's happening? You know what I mean? Because you can't. We grew up on, let's say, for example, 9/11 and anthrax, and you know what I mean. These kids now, they're gonna talk about the pandemic. They're gonna talk about trapping. They're gonna talk about chopping. They're gonna talk about scamming. They're gonna talk about pills. That's their reality. You know what I mean? So how do we strike a balance between? So it took a lot of relearning. And I'm grateful it happened, and I'm grateful I got the opportunity to recharge, do other things, and slowly fall back in love with music again. Like slowly fall back in love with the dancehall and the reggae again.
What's the most regular thing that you do that people don't expect?
Oh my God, I love to go to the supermarket. I love.
Can you take my list, please? And thanks, come eat Gamaki.
To go to. There's nothing like when it's almost closed and it's empty, or when it just open. I'm just like you just have a little trolley and I pour it. Sometimes I look for nothing at all. Sometimes I have no reason for going at all. But listen, you can catch me. There's this one particular Jamaican guy. It's like, yo, me not just party at Publix. Where do I start Target? Like, wait, what happened? You know, buy nothing. You know, you just love walk up and down. Can you leave me alone, please? But I just love, you know what I mean? I think I'm becoming my mom, like comparing prices, and especially when it's empty. I can't think. I mean, I remember nothing at all. I'm going there for, but I might just come out with that can of soup because that must be like.
So what know if the music in a few Publix, I go on the music where I play part.
Sometimes,
every time I'm like, I'm in there like dancing. I pick up.
Sometimes, definitely. But it's a vibe, like, and it's funny because where I chose to live is not the typical part where you'd expect. You know what I mean? Like cowboy town, like people say Tifa, Miss Brown. Nobody says Tifa. Like we can just be a regular person. You know what I mean? So it's like even that brought me back to myself, like just to do the regular things, like because I couldn't do that in Jamaica. Couldn't do it. Couldn't my drive go somewhere. You that me just stick. I remember, you know, them time. Them remember me signed to Mini. Me have car with eyelash. Like you that in a lush ocean. Them say they didn't this. You can't hide. You have to remember, you know, like I needed the break. You have to remember, like this is a woman that was literally on the walls in the national airport, and every bus stop, and every billboard, and every like. Me can't go nowhere and people don't know Tifa. Where's my foot? Them can't hide. Me can't even disguise because me can't hide my foot. Them. So
I can't hide you.
Exactly. I needed the break to just find back me.
I think that is necessary, and like you said, I do think in today's the pace at which we consume media and our favorite celebrities, definitely a break is always needed. I want to go back to your writing. If you could write for any artist and be known for writing for that artist, who would it be? It could be dancehall, any genre, any genre.
Bob come with a richer. You know?
Lord God.
But I just, let me get piece about publishing. Hello, Bob. Bob Whitney.
Okay. All
Bob
right. Somebody who's
Whitney.
living.
Um,
Any younger artists when we
man.
know?
You know, I love write a song for Naomi Cohen.
Naomi Cohen. I can see that. All right, Naomi, fix it up now, please and thanks.
Naomi Cohen. I like yeah.
And she just dropped a song too. I like it. Yeah,
Cherry on top.
cherry on top. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do love that.
we think we could have do like a wow factor kind of like wow, but then people kind of still expect it from her, but wow, but like you know what I mean? We could have do something nice.
And in terms of like collaborators, we've seen a lot of collaborations from crossover. First of all, let me rewind. What does crossover mean to you as an artist? I'm gonna start there.
All right, crossover. Well, I live in America. Well, technically, I live anywhere I feel like, but crossover. I mean, from a Jamaican standpoint, means when your song has hit. To me, when your song has hit the Billboard Hot 100 in the 50s up. What a crossover to me. In the 50s, 20s up. Crossover to me is when your song is not only playing on the urban stations, but playing on the stations that people deem Caucasian. That's crossover to me. When you cross to the pop market, when you not only have Shelly and I sing the song, but Miriam is singing the song also. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's what crossover means to me. Like Sean Paul crossover, like Shaggy crossover.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Crossover. Like Omi crossover. Like Omi was in a jet with like Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Yeah, that to me that's a crossover.
So from an R&B standpoint, have you ever thought about crossing over that in that realm? Who is somebody? Yes.
I'd love to. As I say, I've done quite a few projects. Some of them come out, some of them don't come out, some of them are waiting to come out. As I said, I've written for hip hop, I've written for R&B. Even if I don't sing the song, as long as it bus car cross, I'll take it. I'll take my writer's credit. But that's everybody. That has always been my dream. It's like how some people aspire to be queen or aspire to be princess or dancer. That was like my thing was always just to be like on the Billboard. My thing was always. I remember seeing Patra on. Lad, me give me age. I remember seeing Patra on what was it? Planet Group, BT.
BET.
Yes, I mean, put up my bumper and I'm like, whoa, like, and I realized that the regular people they made on video Saturday, and here's Patra in the braids, and you know what I mean, and cable. Like that's what I always wanted to do, and I thought it was so cool. And then you know what I mean, here is she in a video with Tupac, with Biggie, with you know that was what I always aspired to be. That's what I always wanted. That was what I always wanted. So even if I don't get to sing it and go to the top of the charts, even if I write it and go to the top of the charts, I'll be fine. But as long as I get that, then I can say, I can retire now. That was always my aim.
Yeah. I love that. And I could see that. I think for me personally, I think dancehall has done, outside of Bob and family affiliated, dancehall has done what reggae hasn't been able to do, is really penetrate that American market. I think in the US, in Europe, reggae is
right outside
it's very, very popular. But outside of Bob Marley and the Marley family,
and maybe a
reggae,
few. I'm gonna tell you, I'd say a few. Like oddly enough, it's women.
Yes,
maybe like
and Shaggy. But I think Shaggy's dancehall. Like I think dancehall has
more dancehall pop. But like for example, Don Penn with No No No, that's a reggae track that did really well. Sister Nancy, we can't forget her. Bam Bam. I forget how women did there. Miss Bam Bam come on in a Cartier commercial. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So like them and Master Griffiths that did Electric Boogie. That went Billboard also.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's mostly dancehall.
So I think you're in a good spot to kind of one foot over this and one foot over this.
I really, that's all I've ever wanted to do. This little Benfoot girl from Kingston, that's literally all she's ever dreamed about. And I said it in an interview, like, listen, I'm not greedy. I used to be like, oh, I want to be the female Sean Paul or Shaggy, but listen, just give me a Charlie Black. Just give me a Charlie Black. Just give me a party animal. I'm not greedy. Me take that. Give me even Egyptian. All you. Me take that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Me take that. Me all us and I say, all right, at least we do that. But that's all.
Why do you think? I especially as you say that, I'm like, Charlie Black's like, he's done some really amazing things. Egyptian, same. But because there's no drama centered around them as artists, I feel like they kind of, even like a Shem or Spraga Benz, there's not like a whole lot of drama surrounding them. And they are some of the most talented, because there's no drama surrounding them. I think that.
You see, me like you. Because as you know, certain conversations you can't really have because everybody ever gets it. And it's funny because even the same thing with exploring about the kings, Shama in the conversation.
Hello.
Get a story. Sprague in the conversation with even when he was signed, and even the song with Abid Foxy Brown, and there's so many things that him have. You understand? Cabra in the conversation with Flex. And with the
and then rally back to press trigger.
But they don't like when people talk like this. That's why sometimes I'm public enemy, because they don't like this industry doesn't like real, and I am a real person. But we have to bring Cabra into the conversation. Like he had a major crossover hit
for sure. Yes.
Flex and the song the Tony Braxton remix, Making Me High. You know what I mean? We have to talk about Cape Town, we have to talk about Tour. Tour is a huge record. We have to talk. I'm a music nerd, so okay. We have to talk about, like, let's not get started on even Shabba and Super Cats like that.
Ninja Man Lagan.
People tend to forget.
Yellow Man.
People tend to forget, like, a lot of these men, Buju, had major crossover success.
Yeah.
And major crossover hits. Like, people tend to forget that, them money do it. You know what I mean? And it's funny to me how they're not a part of the conversation more, but again, as you said, maybe because they're not really in the drama. You know what I mean? And maybe because a lot of other persons just know how to, it's not even drama in themselves, to manipulate social media and the media well. You understand where I come from? And a lot of other people, it's just like, they just want to sing the songs and make their money and go home.
I also think that there is a big difference between being popular and being of value.
True.
So I think that they, to your point, do their music, collect their money, valued accordingly, consistently, and just live their life.
And you have to remember that they're coming from a school where legacy is everything. And for them, they want to preserve that legacy. They don't want, at the end of the day, even if we sell 50 million records, I'm known for jumping in a swamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to preserve that legacy and how their story is written. But a lot of these men need to be a part of the conversation, because even women, they did it. I don't think even people don't talk about Diana King enough.
Yeah.
And what she's done. People don't
My
talk
producer's about, gonna go crazy when she hear that one line, because she always talk about.
No, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
People don't speak about these things enough. People don't give these people credit enough for opening doors and championing for us. You know what I mean? It used to be before we knew our history. Now them people don't know issues, so them talk about anything, but at the end of the day, guess what? History can't rub out. Done create already, and if you look and if you Google, we see it, it's there, it's factual. But again, people just gravitate to what they see in the present, what they see in front of their face. So a lot of people can come and say any foolishness and telling them that, oh, I am this, or oh, I have this amount of that, or oh, I sold this, or I streamed, and they believe, and they don't fact check. But a lot of these people, they sold units. A lot of these people, it's funny, because even last night I say, what I mean, World Music Music put up, Patra is the only female dancehall artist with a gold record in the United States, with a gold album. And that was 32 years ago. And I was just like, this is motivation. You know what I mean? But we get caught up in, again, social media and what's put out there. And facts are they did it. And in a time where they literally had to sell physical copies of music, it wasn't about streaming.
Well, it's probably, if you equate it value-wise, number-wise, it's going to be less today because streams are valued. Each stream is valued less than an actual physical sale, either a single or an album. But most of the public don't understand that.
They did it.
Yeah.
They did it in a time where whenever internet like no, could I do this? Like they literally had to, okay, we have to go to you want to do an interview in Japan, you have to fly to Japan. You know what I mean? Like they did it in a time where life wasn't as accessible. And when it did harder, like, you know what I mean? When you used to have to pay for phone calls, and I know it bungle up, we have unlimited calls.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of these people need to be a part of the conversation, and we need to educate. And I think the onus is upon a lot of these. If you say you're an entertainment blog, or you say you're an entertainment journalist, or you say you're an entertainment news outlet, you need to educate the people about what has happened in entertainment.
Well, it's also a whole other podcast. Tifa, you have to come back up. We have to talk more things, because that in itself, I can't tell you about that.
You educate the people, and it shouldn't be only about the controversy and who said this and who said that and who never approved it. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much
more. I mean, controversy sells, it gets clicks and it gets that. But I also think Yeah. I'm driven by different, more purpose, more like this is archival space, right? So when we are long gone, this platform will still exist to teach somebody something who want to learn. That's when that is my legacy. What is when you think about legacy, what do you think about your legacy, and what do you want people to kind of remember you in the future? I feel like you're not done, so it's kind of too early to ask that question, but have you thought about it?
It's funny, I think about a lot of things. I want to be known as the one that never gave up. I want to be known as the one that, despite everything, still pushed through. I want to be known as the warrior princess. Literally. That's what I want to be known as.
Well, I'm going to end it there, because if I go any further, about 35 more minutes, and I know say I have things to do, I mean, I'll hold up the people them time, but Tifa, you can come back anytime you're ready.
When I come to New York.
Yes. Are you still doing your party in I feel like you were doing a dance
last year before.
Yes.
So I
all right, let me know.
But I might be in a different country.
Yeah. All right. Wait. When you reach.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
All right, Tifa, always love. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I always love having you again. Welcome anytime. And you guys make sure you stream Dancehall, stream Tifa's entire
I want a man.
I want a man, but the entire catalog.
Yesterday I was searching my song stats and I realized that I think it's iTunes. We're going to 10. And not only was it on the Reggae US charts, but it was charting globally at 10.
Listen.
So the single number 1, please. I want a man.
Buy the single, please, and thanks.
Stream it.
Yes. And we are looking forward to whatever you have coming up. So please make sure you share with us. And of course, we're going to be sharing. So thank you so much again, Tifa, and to all of my listeners. Later, my peeps. Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Style and Vibes podcast. If you like what you hear, and I know you do, share it with your friends and family. If you want more, make sure you visit styleandvibes.com and follow us on our social channels, Twitter and Instagram at Style and Vibes. Until next time, Leah Tommy Peeps.